Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Mic'd Up Savage. I'm here today with Murph, and today we're going to talk about possible Yankees offseason moves and what the Yankees should be doing this offseason. I'm going to bring up some big things that we talked on. Paxton's a free agent. Tanaka's a free agent. The Yankees just took Britton's option, so he's back for next year. We have DJ LeMahieu, the AL hitting champ. We need to re-sign. And Murph, I think that's it. Correct?
Brett Gardner has an option, a buyout option. Obviously, Hap's gone. Yeah, I think that's it. I think those are the major ones.
So, yeah. Big guys on the market this year, Trevor Bauer. What do you have you any insight on the Trevor Bauer situation? He's doing it with all the teams, egging them on.
So, obviously, if I'm going to be brutally honest, that's not happening. Let's just get it out there. I think any thought of signing Bauer or JT Realmuto this offseason, you should get that out of your head right now, Yankee fans, because that's just not happening. I think right now Steinbrenner pretty much made it pretty clear we're gonna stay under the cap, and we only got $63 million to play with, and we have a lot of needs, and I can guarantee you the Yankees are not going to invest the $63 million into three guys. One being obviously DJ, one being Bauer, who's going to ask for at least a $20 million type of contract, right? Although it might be for a year, still a little too much for the amount of needs we have right now, and Realmuto. So again, I don't see it happening just because of all the needs.
Today we found out that Brad Hand was waived by the Indians. We found out that O'Day's option from the Braves was declined. I think the Yankees could bring Darren O'Day into our bullpen. He's a submariner. We haven't seen one in a Yankee uniform in I think a very long time. So it could be.
Yeah, I can't remember the last one.
Could be something that we need. Ground ball percentage through the roof. Brad Hand, AL. I think he's going to win AL Reliever of the Year, if not Hendrick. Yeah. Could you see any of that happening?
Yeah, I definitely could. I think that's definitely part of the reason we're not going after a Realmuto or a Bauer is because we need some. I think we need another high octane arm in the pen. I think we need another guy like that. I think Brad Hand would be obviously optimal, right? Obviously, you'd love to have a guy like Brad Hand in there.
Slam the door kind of deal.
Yeah, a guy like him, maybe a guy like Colomb, Alex Colomb, maybe a guy like Hendricks, like we talked about. Maybe you try to steal Rosenthal from the Padres. Maybe even bring back old friend Dellin Betances, right? I think that's a guy you could look to bring back on a buy low type of basis, right? He didn't necessarily have the greatest of 2020 seasons and kind of still recovering from that injury, I guess. Not necessarily not recovering in terms of health, but in terms of his career and what he can do.
Getting back to what he was kind of deal.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, the Yankees definitely need at least one of those arms. I think they need a kind of an arm like that, a nice almost like closer-esque, right? He might not necessarily close, but like the type Zach Britton type, where he could close if absolutely necessary, and he could just be a seventh or eighth inning type of deal, right? And we need another arm like that, especially until Hanley comes back from Tommy John.
I think teams are gonna go away from there'll be guys that are the designated closer, but they're not gonna use him in every closing situation. I think because like the Rays did it well this year. The Padres had multiple guys close for them. So I think it's gonna move towards that. And I think the more guns you have, more weapons you have in the pen, the better. Because Hand in the Yankees bullpen, that'd be filthy.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Do you have any insight on what do you want for DJ coming back?
So DJ is a tricky one. I've heard a few things, but I think for the most part, you're trying to sign him for under $23 million. That'd be optimal. Trying to sign him for under $23 million. You try to sign him for maybe 2 to 3 years, probably more like 3 to 4, if I'm being honest. But try to get
3 to 4.
3 to 4 is more likely, and I think around that 20. Obviously, ideally, $20 million would be the ultimate ideal. Because again, as of right now, if everything lines up, the Yankees would have around $63 million to play around until they get to that luxury tax. So if you can sign DJ to a nice $20 million, I think that'd be obviously optimal. That'd be great. You shouldn't need any convincing why you should bring back DJ, right? He's an MVP, pillar of the team, beloved by the fans. As simple as that.
Yeah, besides Judge, I don't think I've ever seen someone so loved by the fans and it's never on DJ or it's like he's a leader when Judge isn't there. He's also a leader when Judge is there, of course. But I think he's also a team that rally behind him. So there's no reason the Yankees have given him no reason to leave.
Yep.
He was there on the day of I want to say exit meetings with the front office. He was there working out and on the field after the season, after they were eliminated. And I think it just goes to show you he wants to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't, and like you said, JT going to the Yankees. Not coming to the Yankees. I don't think he's going to come either. The Yankees would not go after him. Apparently, he wants to stay in Philly. I saw multiple headlines.
Yeah. Definitely, I think he definitely wants to stay in Philly. I even saw a headline where he's like, "I'm not too keen on playing New York." So, sorry, Met fans too. That means Mets and Yankees probably out of the discussion. But I think ultimately he's going to follow the money, right? So if the Mets really want him, they're going to have to sally up and pay, which, he's
going to want a lot to leave.
Yeah, he's going to want a lot. So I think ideally he probably tries to stay in Philly.
Yeah. Are you going with a possible Marcus Strowman brought in? Because let's just say we bring in DJ, of course, which we should for the $20 million a year, that leaves us with 43, correct?
Yep. Yeah, around there. Yeah.
So what do you do? What are we doing with this 43? Because I know you plan mapped out.
Yeah, I kind of got a little bit of proposal, a little GM Murph coming out,
Yeah, Murph, welcome.
Little GM Murph. So I think. Obviously, first thing the Yankees do, we talk about it, re-sign DJ. That's going to be number one on the list, right? After you deal with all your options, right? I think one of the other things you should try to do, by the way, is buy out Gardy. He's right now supposed to get $10 million. Buy him out for 2.5. Try to re-sign him for under 5. That way, you still got some extra money to play with that you didn't have before, and you bring back another guy, platoon guy, lefty bat, plays outfield, elite level, all that fun stuff. So after you bring back those guys. Rotation. You got to address the rotation. I think what the Yankees should do, it would be awesome, is if they brought back Tanaka and Paxton. I think that'd be awesome. Not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. I don't see a situation where both those guys take enough of a pay cut for the Yankees to justify bringing both of them back. I think it's likely one or the other. It's one or the other. And if I'm picking, and I'm going to be honest here, probably controversial, I'm leaning towards Paxton because he's a lefty. I think the Yankees need a lefty really badly. I think they cannot go into the season where Monty is your only lefty in the rotation. That just cannot be, right? Not that I don't necessarily trust Monty, but he's not that good enough to be that feared lefty to complement all the righties we have. Because right now we have too many righties, right? You look Cole, Sevy when he comes back, Herman, Garcia.
Too many righties in general.
In general, like the rotation and the lineup, too many righties, right? So I think I'm leaning towards Paxton. Guy you could probably – hopefully, ideally, you sign him to a low guarantee money, high incentive type of deal. So, he gets X amount of strikeouts, X wins, X innings, postseason roster, all that fun stuff. Incentives go up, he gets more money, right? And hopefully that'd be enough to re-sign him. And he's going to pitch with a chip on his shoulder, right? Last 2 seasons in New York haven't been great for him due to the injuries. And hopefully this is something he can overcome and prove that he has that ace-level ceiling. Because I think of the two, he has got the higher ceiling by far. I think he's still got that ace-level stuff in him. It's just a matter of staying healthy and unlocking it again. And I think if you sign Paxton to pair up with him, you have to go off and try to get another arm, right? You have to try to get another low-chip arm because, you still have to be worried that Paxton is that injury-prone type of guy. One of the guys I'm actually looking at, again, may not be at the top of the list, the sexiest pick, if you will, but Robbie Ray. I think Robbie Ray, another lefty. The Yankees had their eyes on him for number of years, seems like every other offseason. They're like, Robbie Ray.
He was finally traded to the Blue Jays this year. Now he's a free agent. So he's still 29 years old, pretty young guy, but he had a very, very bad 2020 season, like abysmal bad, like so bad. And that's why I think the Yankees should try to go after him because I think he's going to have a pretty low market. I think it's going to I think for sure he'll have a bounce back season for whatever team.
Yeah.
He'll have a bounce back.
Yeah. So I think that's to be awesome for the Yankees. A guy with a chip on his shoulder, a guy with a need to have a bounce back season, and he could do that. I think he could really do that with the Yankees, and he won't have that pressure of having to be the number 1 guy or even the number 2 guy, right? You can slide in as the 3-4 guy, eventually 4 when Sevy gets back. But yeah, I think this is a really good fit. That's another lefty, right? Another lefty that we again so desperately need. Mm-hmm. Apart from that, you can look at a guy like Walker. Walker had a really good 2020 season, and Again, another guy from the Blue Jays, right? It'd be nice to steal another guy from the Blue Jays. But he's going to be tougher because I think his market's definitely going to be higher. I think a lot of teams are interested in him. Another guy, Kevin Guzman.
Oh, yeah, on the Giants, yeah. Flamethrower. He used to throw like 92, and then something changed. He's throwing 100 now. No.
He's a guy Yankees could look to buy low on. Chris Archer, another guy, Pirates. He's had a really bumpy season, but 3 years pitching for the Rays, he's considered one of the more dominant pitchers in the league, right?
He was with a good staff, so he went to like a very subpar staff. Like his only other counterpart, I'd say, is Joe Musgrove on the Pirates. So now you bring him into a winning situation. I think he rises to the occasion,
Exactly.
and it's again just another righty. It's hopefully a buy low.
Yeah, that's
buy low, high. Because if you buy low and he doesn't pan out, you could tip him off. You could even release him.
Yeah,
just pay him, get out of here, kind of thing.
33 years old. Again, he's had 2 injury-riddled seasons, so I think the buy low is definitely there. He's definitely a guy who could buy low. We already talked about Marcus Strowman. I think he's definitely another guy who's going to be really tough to sign because I think he's going to ask for a bit of money, right?
But it'll be on a multi-year deal.
Multi-year and a pretty high contract. And I don't think the Yankees necessarily want to do that because I think they're really high on Garcia Schmidt, and not to mention you got Herman coming back. So you have a lot of team controllable guys. So I don't know if you really want to invest on another 20 mil type of contract. Probably less than that, but it's gonna be up there. It's gonna be enough to probably drive the Yankees away. And then one of my final ones, I think is pretty intriguing. Cory Clover recently got his option was declined by the Texas Rangers. 35 years old, at one point considered the best pitcher in the major leagues.
Yeah, for multiple years in a row.
With 2 Cy Youngs.
Beyond dominant.
Yeah.
Was it 2016, 2017, 2018-ish? Like, he was a monster.
He's a monster, bro.
But
he's a guy who can rival Kershaw in a sense.
You have him. Because like these guys are all like coming off of injury. These guys are willing to prove themselves, willing to earn their pinstripes, play with a chip on their shoulder.
Yep.
Enough of this like injury riddled guys coming back, not continuing to prove themselves. It's time to it's time to sign some guys that are willing to go out there and ball no matter the circumstances and get their contract.
Exactly.
Because if they come in and prove their contract, and there are guys in the Yankee team that ain't proven their contract, they're gonna have to rise to their occasion, and then I could see the Yankees doing some damage.
Exactly.
More than normal, at least from a starting pitching perspective. You have, and where do you think is Tanaka gonna leave the MLB? You think?
If I were a betting man, I think we already talked about it. He got an offer from Japan, $23 million, right, to go back to his old team. And he sent out some pretty cryptic messages saying this could be his last start with the Yankees, last start in the pinstripe, right? I think it's one of those things where, he could be leaning to going home. He could be one of those things where he's homesick and wants to go home. And I think the fans would love him, and I think he'd live out the glory days there, and he'd be like probably one of the better pitchers in that league, if I'm being brutally honest, right? Not a knock on Japan, but I think he's still that type of caliber pitcher. And I think he just loved being home, and I think that probably sparked him going back up.
Especially getting hit in the head definitely didn't help issues here. Like last year, he kind of wants to go home, like a very scary time of his life, But he's been, 6 years with us,
7 years.
7 years balled out for us, So if he does leave us, best of luck. But I don't see him coming back.
I think the price tag is just going to be too much, right? Ideally, you try to get him to take that hometown discount, right? And try to be like, hey, we really want you back, but it's one of those things where we need you to take this pay cut so we can do other things, right? And hopefully he does that. But again, this is a guy you're going to have to lock up long term, right? I don't think he's going to be satisfied with a 2-year deal. You're looking more like 3, 4, maybe 5 years. And that's something I don't think the Yankees can really do at all. I think you have to stay – ideally you stay under that $20 million range and you stay under the 40 range. Because you can't go above that.
So roughly now we have like maybe not 5, maybe 10, 15 mil to play with if we sign a few of these guys.
Yeah, if we sign 2 arms, for sure we're looking at least around the 15 mil range.
do you see any bats getting us any bats this offseason? Because I think Jock Peterson is a free agent this year.
Yeah.
He would be a big left because we just need lefty bats in our
We need
lineup.
lefty bats bad.
Like, I'm sorry, but Gardner's not going to cut my lefty pleasure kind of thing. I need a good lefty, like a younger lefty, in my opinion.
So one of the guys I was actually looking at, like you said, Jock Peterson, obviously going to be a free agent. I'm not sure how the Dodgers are going to deal with him. I think odds are they're probably going to let him go. They got AJ Pollock.
Too much for.
He's probably going to ask for a little bit much for them. They're like, dude, you're probably going to be a bench bat at best.
Yeah.
So
because he has been that for them. He's been that for them.
And if he comes to us, that might not change, but it might change. He might get the starting job in left, right? I think they'd love to give Clint that job, but I think bringing in Jock really helps that competitive flow and really gets Clint going and making sure he stays on top of his game. Like, hey, this can get taken from you at any minute, right? And then, like you said, adding that important lefty bat. Another guy, Brandon Crawford. I think he's a really intriguing guy. Shortstop, elite defensive, lefty, right?
Before we go, like, bro, this was. We're like your plan, GM Murph. What the hell are you doing? Continue. Sorry.
Yeah, I think Brandon Crawford's a really good signing, and I think he has that family ties. You know, Garrett Cole being his brother-in-law. Didn't know. Not sure if you knew that. Garrett Cole married to his sister. For the record, if you didn't know that. Yeah, and I think he's just an elite defensive guy. He's a vet. You know, I think he'd be willing to come off the bench, and he's one of those guys you do at the end of the game, right? When you're doing your defensive replacements. Slide DK to first, towards the second, and now you bring Crawford in short. And right there, you got a really good middle infield going for you.
And he can be a starter, and he's a very streaky hitter. Streaky hitter. He's had like player of the months for NL, like out of nowhere. He's beat guys out he's beat like Bellinger out a few times for NL player of the month during his rookie year, which was insane. Sorry.
Yeah, he's a really talented guy. I think he's a guy again the Yankees could possibly look to buy low and bring him in. Another guy, Freddie Galvez. I'm not sure. He's a guy the Yankees talked about a couple times, I think, previous seasons. And I think,
like trade deadline kind of thing?
Yeah, like last-minute acquisitions type of things. But,
love that kind of thing.
Freddie Galvez, another elite defender, another lefty bat, come in, vet, come off the bench. Again, same thing with Crawford. You know, ideally that defensive replacement. Or you could do the bold move, the controversial move. You trade Voit for Mr. Francisco Lindor. That's something very bold and about 2% chance of happening. Like, this is 2% chance, maybe even less, if I'm being brutally honest.
But I think the Indians would bite on something like that if it was like a Voit and Andujar.
A Voit, Andujar, and a couple pitching prospects could get that deal done. Because you got to understand, Voit's trade value at an all-time high. Like, I don't think it's going to get much higher from this unless he wins like an MVP.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. I think he can hit 35 home runs in a year, but I don't think he's going to hit this many in this short a time ever again. And this is like, we love Luke Voit. I love Luke Voit. He's a monster, but I don't know if he'll ever have this ceiling. And we saw this with Gary Sanchez. So if it's Lindor we're talking about, a switch hitter too, and Gold Glover, you know. Like Gold Glove caliber player?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, like you said, we love Voit. I think this is the only way I'd ever trade Voit for the record. Any other sort of idea of trading Voit to anybody else would be idiotic. I think this is the only one. And again, like, brutally honest, like a 1% chance of happening. I think, but you never know. The Indians are going to be motivated to move Lindor, especially after you just designated Brad Hand on waivers, trying to get him off the team, trying to clear cap. I think moving Lindor could be next down the pipe.
He made a slight $2 million though, real quick, Brad.
Yeah. So I think trading Voit and Duhart, a bunch of pitching prospects, could definitely get this done. And again, just fixes the problem up the middle, right? You got Lindor at short, Torres at second, DJ first, and you go from probably having one of the worst infields to having the best, just like that. And you added such an impactful lefty who can hit for contact, hit for average, and he's a lefty. That's the biggest thing. The biggest plus is a lefty. We need lefties. We need them. Too many righties, bro. And yes, I love Voit. Yes, he has a high ceiling. I think again wouldn't trade him for any other reason, but I just think we have too many guys like Voit, right? We have Judge, we have Stan, we have Gary. We don't need a fourth guy who pretty much mainly home run ball, right? Mainly the home run ball is his thing. We don't need more of that. We need we need more
Average.
average. Yeah, that's the word. Average.
I'll take guys that hit 20 and hit 285.
Give me more DJs.
Yeah.
I take a roster full of DJs over a roster full of judges. I'm sorry.
It's the job done.
Yeah. And again, very unlikely to happen.
Yeah.
But something that could. Never know. Cashman's a sneaky guy.
Mm-hmm. But do you see Andujar being moved this offseason? Because he did great this year.
Mm-hmm.
For the time that he played, I think his ceiling went from AL Rookie of the Year candidate to
should have won it,
which he should have won.
Yeah.
So just wanted to throw that in there, baseball fans. To a injury, very bad injury, to a coming back and tearing the cover up the ball every time he had a chance to hit. Again, his defense is still iffy, but he's a bat. So it's something that I think teams could be interested in a package maybe.
I think odds are he probably gets moved, right? I just don't – there's just too many log jams around the infield, I think, right? He plays first, he plays third, he plays left. He's terrible at third. You can't play him at third. At first, you'd rather it's going to go Voit DJ and then him if absolutely necessary. Probably Ford above him too.
He's too short for first base in my opinion.
Yeah, he really played it maybe once last season. I don't even remember, to be honest. I think I saw him
in mid game to play.
Yeah, like an inning.
Yeah.
And he's just not good enough defensively to play left right now. Could they work on him and get him better? Probably, but again, Clint turn it around in a big way. You're probably gonna have Gardy back, and you need another lefty. And Jock is looking pretty juicy to bring it to the left field mix. So and you still got Talkman.
Bring him to the right field porch.
Yeah, and you still got Talkman to deal with, right? Honestly, he's a guy who I have no idea what they're going to do with him. But, again, he's in the mix. He's team control for a while. So, in trading Andujar, where his value is pretty good, especially with the universal DH now just being a thing, his value is just up there, bro. So, trying to move him for whatever you can. Ideally, some prospects, right? Obviously, pitching prospects. Maybe even if you could back him for a reliever if you really want to. Maybe a starting pitcher if you really feel like you have to do that.
But I think there will be signings this year from the Yankees. The Yankees will be going out there and getting guys because they definitely were not pleased with the way their team played this year.
No.
And the production. No. So I mean, there were very high highs, but there were very, very low lows that I haven't seen from a Yankee team in a while. The Yankees didn't do horrible this year. They didn't do what they normally can do.
Yeah, I think anytime you fall short of a World Series, it's just a bust for the Yankees, right? That's just the mentality they carry themselves with. That's what just makes the Yankees, right? Makes them
World Series or bust. We're not happy with anything less.
There's no tanking. There is no nothing.
That's from other organizations, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. One of the last things I got, again, another controversial, probably not going to happen. Almost 99% chance not happening. Yankees should consider trading Gary Sanchez for whatever he's got and bringing in James McCann from the White Sox. James McCann, going to be a free agent, 30 years old. All-Star in 2019, I think?
Yes.
Yeah, All-Star in 2019. Elite defender, elite pitch framer. And he's just had a solid offense the last couple of years, right? I think last year he had a really good –
It's average, too.
Yeah.
It's average and a decent amount of home runs, you know?
Yeah, and that's a guy like Yankees – he's got something to work with, and normally Yankees bringing guys, usually their offense takes up a couple of rates. So he could look to stand from improving with the Yankees offense, right? Working with our hitting coaches, assuming they don't leave, right? James, you better not leave us.
No, that's for the Tigers, right? Possibly.
Yeah. So
the Tigers what they said they came out today that their number one coaching option. Can you take a guess who it is?
AJ Hinch.
The man who wasn't truly suspended, in my opinion. Truly suspended. But
yeah, I think bringing in James McCann makes a lot of sense, and it fixes that problem up the middle, right? Up the middle, you want your best defensive lineman. And right now, we have two glaring holes at catcher and short. Not so much worried about short, but I am worried about catcher, right? I think Torres is still young, can learn the position. Obviously, the Yankees are, again, I think more than likely they're going to give him a shot to the next season to figure it out, to fix it. Because, again, 2022, treasure trove of shortstops. You got Lindor, you got, I think Seager's a free agent. I think
Story.
Correa, Story. I think maybe even Turner's a free agent. So, yeah, you got really good shortstops coming up. So, yeah, I just think what the Yankees should do, look to bring in another shortstop. Again, I'd love them to trade for Lindor. What they're most likely to do, roll with Torres until the end of the year. Doesn't work out. They should do trade Gary for whatever he's worth. bring in a good catcher like James McCann. Yeah, they're not going to do that. They're going to roll with Gary most likely until the All-Star break. If you can't figure it out, then you hit the crisis button. You get yourself a catcher.
Last question for you, Murph. I don't know if you've prepared for this.
Probably not.
But let's just say we don't go out and get another shortstop. No, we do go out and get another shortstop, but it's not B. Craw. We go out and bring back Didi Gregorius. What are we doing? And you move Andujar, so he's gone. We get something for him. You have Luke Voigt. Do you let Didi mentor Torres at short? Because I don't think Didi wants to be a bench bat. He's not. He's worthy of a starting spot. Let's theoretically we trade Voigt. We don't get Lindor somehow. We can another team. LeMahieu goes over. We have Torres at second, Gio at third. Now we have the hole. Do you want Didi back?
At that point, yeah. If you're not trading for Lindor, you're not trading for the lead shortstop. Yeah, I'd take Didi back. I think he's a guy who's played in New York before, right? Obviously, another lefty bat, huge. But yeah, he's just not a guy who's going to come off the bench. And I think if you sign Didi, I don't think you're trading Voigt to just sign Didi, right? I think you're trading Voigt if you're really getting something big in return. And I just don't see that. I don't see what else could be out there that would be so enticing. The Yankees are just like, yep, we got to pull the trigger, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I obviously would love Didi to come back. He's a huge part of this. He was a huge part of this team. He's a leader of this team. Lefty bat, just short porch, rips it apart. But yeah, I just don't see it. I just couldn't envision myself making those moves just to do
that. You could do a lot of good things with $63 million. And Murph, I'm going to be quite honest. I was not ready for this. I was not ready. I was like, yo, whoa. James McCann. What? Brandon Crawford. He's a free agent kind of thing. I was like, yo. But yeah, Murph, any closing statements on the Yankees offseason? Do you really believe that they will be buyers?
I have to, right? Because if they're not, I'm actually going to cry. Yes, our team is talented, but it's not talented enough to just be like, wind it back. Let's just go with what we got, right? I think if you roll into a season where you go Cole, Herman, Garcia, Schmidt, Monty, you're in trouble. You're in trouble, right? Because these guys are let's be honest. Garcia had his ups and downs this year, but for the most part, it's unproven, right? We have no idea how he's going to pitch in a 162-game season, assuming it is 162 games. We have no idea what to expect from Schmidt, right? Because he had 3 starts that meant nothing. Three appearances, 1 start. So again, he's if he did well, if he did bad, really didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Monty is still trying to figure it out. I think he'll probably take a step in the right direction next year, but to just expect that is insane. And Herman is just another guy. It's just
what went on? Are you I know you said he's playing baseball in Dominican League.
Mm-hmm.
So but what has he done all COVID?
That's the problem.
Besides tell the baseball that he's quitting, and scare Yankee fans half to death. There's a lot that needs to happen though this season.
And then Sevy coming back. You don't know what to expect from him.
Yeah. And we won't have Canley for next year, sadly. The Bulldog, my Bulldog, love that guy to death. Big. If we had him this postseason, I think we could have done a little bit better, but possibly won some more games in the regular season, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, Murph, hell of a job, man. GM Murph, round of applause. Round of applause. Take it down, Murph. I couldn't be more impressed. That was amazing, outstanding.
For the record, the Yankees should just say fuck the cap and fuck the luxury tax.
Yeah,
just go off and sign boys.
Go out and sign everyone.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that.
Yeah. If George Steinbrenner was here today, he would have done. It would have half these guys had already.
Half these guys are on the roster already, right? JT's on the roster, Bauer's on the roster. He signed anybody 8 trade Spen already. You'd be just sorry, Spen, you're probably getting traded last year. Let's be honest. Yeah. Gary's gone, right? He's making moves left and right.
But I heard from Bauer's podcast with his agent Rachel said that there's after the World Series, there are 2 days where like no one can get signed, I think. And then there's like there's a dead period, and then they can talk to people, and then I think there's another dead period before the winter meetings, and then it's just gonna kick off.
Yeah.
So there's an MLB that's in the middle of December, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure about now because of COVID and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're doing like Zoom calls now or whatever.
Apparently it's over Zoom this year.
Yeah. So who knows? It's gonna be a mess.
We could end up doing a live stream for the winter meetings, just kind of like a day thing, being around the live stream, ready to get on the call, talking about where people signed, if people signed during the winter meetings and such. But yeah, hell of an episode, Murph. Hell of an episode.
Yeah.
Co-host Murph. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cringy. You're cringe, bro.
All right. Thank you for joining me. Everyone, expect some big moves from the Yankees this offseason. Expect a lot of talk about the offseason from us. I, for one, this is going to be I'm going to be involved in this. I want to be involved with this offseason a lot. It's going to be fun. So let us know what you think in the comments about who we want to bring on. Rate Murph's general manager skills. I think it's a 10 out of 10. Just sign him right now. Sign runners. Thank you all for watching. Have a good one.